This is the DJI LiDAR Focus Pro, what I would call one of the biggest milestones in filmmaking technology since motorized gimbals. But how does it work? What does it allow me to do? And is it worth the price and effort? Let's talk about it. So what is LiDAR? LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging. So in its simplest ways, it's a little device that is shooting out a grid of lasers. And those lasers go out, hit a subject, and bounce back towards the device, thus letting the LiDAR unit know how far that subject is based off of how long it took to bounce back. Now, for filmmakers, that means that we can use some fancy algorithm and coding, and we can use LiDAR to detect how far our subject is and have a focus motor pull to that distance every second. Pretty sick, right? So what comes with the Focus Pro kit? I got the Creator Kit, so this is the one where you'll get the LiDAR device itself, a focus motor, the Focus Pro grip, BG21 battery, a 15mm rod, a NATO rail / rod holder attachment, along with all the cables needed to connect everything. By default, you will mount the LiDAR on the hot shoe of the camera, but I opted for this rig from Nicey Rig, which brought the LiDAR further out in line with the front of my lens. Not necessarily, but it did simplify my rig, so I'll be sure to link that in the description. The calibration process is super straightforward and can be done in the DJI app or in the Focus Pro grip itself. On the app, you'll hit connect to the Focus Pro grip, hit LiDAR lens profile, press the plus sign and add a lens profile. You will also have to set the distance from the LiDAR unit itself to your camera sensor. Most cameras have this marked by a circle with a line through it, but by default, it will be set to 75mm, which is the average distance if you were mounting it on the hot shoe. Again, I went a different route when mounting my LiDAR unit, so mine came out a little bit further. And if you go my route, be sure to adjust that setting or else you'll notice that your footage is never perfectly in focus. If you have cinema lenses like these Nisi Athenas that I'm using, or any other mainstream cinema lenses, DJI already has an awesome library of lens profiles you can simply select and calibrate. You can save up to 15 lens profiles through the app, so easily 3 full sets of cinema lens families. Then if you're not an app person, you could also create lens profiles on the grip itself by swiping left on the menu. Then in the bottom right of the LCD, click the settings. This brings up your LiDAR settings. Then like earlier, you'll hit lens profile and you're entering your lens focal length. Then you'll set focus at 1 meter and then again at 4.5 meters, and then you're set. What's nice is that once you calibrate these lenses into the app or the Focus Pro grip, you'll never need to do them again, thus saving you time on set when you're swapping lenses. So I found that there are kind of 2 setups that you can configure the LiDAR system to be in. First is a standalone or a handheld option, which is when you'll want to use the Focus Pro hand grip, or the other is with the DJI RS4 Pro or RS3 Pro. Making a note here that you have to use either of those gimbals. To my knowledge, you can't use older or regular RS gimbals. When in a handheld configuration, it will work strictly as an autofocus system. All right, so we're here on set. So we have a fun amount of cameras. So we have the beautiful Lumix S5 IIX with the Nisi Athena primes. I have the 35 and 50 with me today. So a little backstory. So this awesome couple, their wedding was earlier this month. It's November now, so it sunsets at like 4 or 5 o'clock here in North Carolina. So they weren't able to get to their portrait session. And so me and the photographer were like, hey, we both live in Charlotte. So does the couple. So why don't we just meet up and shoot some portrait session stuff? So it's a fun excuse for the bride and groom to get back into their dress and tux. So, all right, so we switched to Lumix. This has the 35 with the short stash everyday filter. Since the sun is peeking through right here, we're just getting some of that light flare, which just halates beautifully with the mist. Looks so good. Yeah, you know what's up. There we go.
Okay, and y'all are just looking at each other.
Omar, can you almost like bring up her hand and like try like almost towards you're about to kiss it, but don't actually kiss it. All right. Let's do it one more time. Bring it down and then go ahead and go up for the fake kiss. Okay, okay. This shoot is so good. I'm so excited about this footage. Again, in this mode, the Focus Pro grip is your best friend. To enable the autofocus with the LiDAR, simply press the M button. Then to change the types of autofocus, you'll hit the square in the bottom left-hand corner. There are 2 modes of autofocus, Flexi Spot and Wide. Flexi Spot allows you to drag a box around the subject you want to track. Then Wide has a fixed box in the middle. Anything in that box is what the LiDAR will autofocus to. From my experience, Flexi Spot is good for human faces, but not as good at tracking objects. But what I really got this system for was hooking it up to the RS4 Pro. By doing so, we can now use it as an autofocus system as well as a tracking system. We can simply highlight a subject on the LCD screen on the Ronin grip, tap the trigger once to lock onto our subject, and boom, a camera that tracks your subject wherever they go while also keeping them in focus. Field test. Hi there. So, should in theory just walk in front. If I was tracking somebody, she would just hit that and it should follow me. And it should be autofocusing as well. We can cut to it. Oh, you know what? It's because autofocus enabled. There we go. We're just gonna, oh, excuse the hair. Oh, it's tracking pretty well. If I get close, if I just creep back, it's working pretty well. So like I was saying, if I stick the 85mm on here and use this for reception speeches, I think this would be a really cool trick. That way I don't have to man the camera. We still get that compression that I love of an 85mm, and it's always gonna keep it in autofocus too. I don't ever have to worry about the subject coming out of focus if I like lock the focus during the reception speeches. Okay, you may not be able to see me, but I'm gonna hide behind this tree for a second. I'm gonna come back out. Oh, there we go. Looks like it lost me. Oh, no. Are we back? Oh, we're back. Back to the studio. Now, there are some limitations to this system. As of right now, the furthest it can focus is 20 meters or roughly 65 feet. So in practicality, I found that at some point, your subject will be so far that it just sets it to infinity focus, even though you could be at a tighter focal length like 135 millimeters or 200 millimeters. Now, does this system compete with the autofocus systems of Sony or of Canon? No, it's definitely not. But this does add autofocus to cameras which originally wouldn't have had reliable autofocus or autofocus at all. And to that, I tip my hat off. I feel like as long as you know the limitations of the system and work within those limitations, this is a killer system. One of the coolest applications I found was when I used it for wedding reception speeches. I usually have a minimum of 2 camera angles. One is a medium of the bride and groom as their reaction camera, and the other angle is super zoomed in on the person giving the toast, usually around 135-200 millimeters. What I found quickly was that most people aren't used to giving public speeches, so they'll pace and they'll walk around. Thus, I have to stand at that camera and track them with the tripod. But stick an 85mm on the subject, track them with the LiDAR and an RS4 Pro, and I can now reliably have a camera pan, tilt, and follow this person as they speak with autofocus. And really, you can use this setup to track subjects in general. Again, if we select a subject and lock onto them, we can move the gimbal as needed, and the LiDAR will worry about keeping the subject in proper framing and in focus. Then I'll just focus on walking or navigating through the terrain. Battery life is decent. They include the smaller BG21, which DJI claims roughly 2.5 hours of life on it. In actuality, I feel like it's a little less than that at about 2 hours, but you can always purchase extra batteries to swap them out throughout the day. Or you can just power the battery grip itself through something like a V-mount battery with a USB Type-C to D-tap cable. What I found kind of stupid though is that a regular BG30 battery that comes with an RS4 Pro is not compatible with the Focus Pro grip. So yes, you can use the BG21 with a Ronin gimbal, but you can't use those bigger batteries on the Focus Pro unit. So really, the only route is to buy more BG21 batteries, which I feel like was a lost opportunity there. So all in all, for $999 for the DJI Focus Pro LiDAR Creator Kit, I would say this is a killer investment. Genuinely, for $1,000, you can indefinitely add autofocus to any lens or camera. I bought this knowing that I would also be investing in a Nisi Athena cinema lens set and would be pairing these two together basically for the rest of their lives. Even if I got other lenses, this system can seamlessly merge them as well. So for me, this checked all my boxes as being a worthwhile investment. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed another video. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. I hope you guys are enjoying some of the content and the future content I have planned. I'll be sure to leave the links in the description for where you guys can purchase the LiDAR system. But as always, I'll catch you guys next time.